The Brew Railroad operations centered in and dispatched from Brew Yard in a high and tight valley of the Blue Ridge Mountains, about 10 miles outside of Marion, Virginia, in the town of Lebanon. Two main lines extended north to Rago, West Virginia, south to Crowder, North Carolina, west to Devine, Tennessee, and east to Marion, Virginia. From 1947 to 1980, post-war commercial expansion and residential development contributed to the early success of the Brew Railroad. The Holston River between Marion and Bristol attracted businesses and residents and centered the Brew Railroad's diversified freight customers between Marion, Devine, DeMassey, and Crowder. Trains returned from Lebanon by emerging from Black Mountain Lower Tunnel and passing Lebanon Station at the north end of Brew Yard. Brew Yard included service for both steam and diesel locomotives, a sanding tower, fuel racks, a roundhouse, and a Railway Express Agency depot. Interchange between the Chesapeake and Ohio, Norfolk and Western, and Southern railroads occurred in Lebanon.
Soybeans, number 2 crop in this territory, and one of the most versatile crops taken out of the earth. Today, almost half of all the soybeans produced in the United States are grown within 25 miles of the road's rail system. Throughout this area, rich and varied natural resources each hour. In recent years, millions of dollars have been spent to enlarge the road's coal car fleet and to modernize dock facilities for the handling of waterborne traffic servicing freighters from Duluth and other Great Lakes ore shipping centers. Immediately on arrival, anytime during the day or night, Hewlett ore unloaders go to work. Each bucket handles 17 tons at every bite, unloading a large ship in a few hours. Within a surprisingly short time, that ore has been way-billed, assembled into trains, and is on its way to iron and steel plants in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Forming a pattern of industrial enterprise unmatched in any other sector of the country for the value and variety of its products. Iron ore and coal, manufactured iron and steel, agricultural implements, household appliances, machinery and tools, metal stamping, glass and chemical products, paint, St. Louis. Of course, there are just as many westbound trains. Here's PB-12, departing at 2:30 a.m., carrying perishables and other commodities from the west. At the same time, 2:30 a.m., down in the terminal, ST-96 pulls out with products of this area and the Great South. And again, switch engines and yard men go to work. Not a minute wasted, not a detail overlooked. Precision machine efficiency in speed and economy of movement. Train reassembly. And 1 hour after all of you, each train is ready to move eastward again. Almost a new train, with some cars dropped for other destinations, and some cars added for destinations east. CB-12 and PB-12 are on their way to rolling through the night via Lorraine, Cleveland, Haynesville, Ashtabula, Pontiac, Erie, Dunkirk, Buffalo. 2 trains almost together. CB-12 from Chicago, PB-12 from Peoria, with pickup cars from St. Louis, arriving early morning, 4 a.m., to connect with Eastern lines for New York, New England, and the Philadelphia area. Traversing one of the most fertile food-producing areas in the United States, the road has always been one of the leading grain and table produce carriers of the Midland region. A yard with a capacity for hundreds of cars. Acres of steel, brick, and concrete buildings, including huge cold storage facilities. All these comprise an immense trade project that serves as terminal and clearinghouse for 95% of the food supply. A frontier food terminal with comparable facilities serves the metropolitan area, with loading platforms and buildings for hundreds of wholesale grocers and dealers in produce, butter, eggs, and poultry, servicing more than 95% of the population. Strives constantly to reduce freight loss and damage claims. Continuous personnel training in careful handling of freight is part of the program. This emphasis on safe packaging, loading, and stowing even reaches into the shipper's plant to make sure freight is properly handled from assembly lines to consumers. Lading inspection is made available without cost throughout the area. Serving as a clearinghouse for facts and figures about every city, town, and village on the system, the Industrial Development Department has been a vital force in the expanding economy of the region. Specialized research and surveys of every kind has a quiet pride in the civic and business relations it has established with the cities, towns, and villages that line its tracks. Modern railroading is a business built on public contact, formed of us as railroaders, good, bad, or indifferent. 17,000ers know this, collectively and individually. They know it means
a modern track loader yards and loads logs along the right-of-way. After the truck is loaded, it leaves for the transfer, and another truck takes its place. The job. The F-14 is only in partial use at the present time, but for historical interest, it's one of the show places of the era. Soon it will be abandoned. Works hard on a 0.9% grade of Cook Creek Hill on a new bypass which eliminates 2 highway grade crossings and shortens the main line by 2 miles. The 38 is Rayonier's largest roading. A 130-ton Sierra type Baldwin Mallet built in 1934 and purchased from the Sierra Railroad. Still close enough to Grays Harbor to be affected by the tide. The barge is properly spotted on a grid and held in position while the tide recedes enough for the barge to settle onto the grid, so the rails on the barge can be connected to those ashore. The 38 is ready and waiting to pull the diesel engine from the barge when the connection is made. The rail connection will be made as soon as the barge drops another inch. Now everything is ready, and the Mallet pushes her idler cars down to hook up with the diesel and pull her off the barge. Visiting dignitaries, including the State Land Commissioner, State Forester, and other state and company officials, will ride in the cab of the 90 on her last run. Feather bedding, perhaps. The pre-dedication publicity mentioned that the State Land Commissioner would be the engineer on the 90 for her last run. And here, her regular engineer, who apparently took this statement literally, dismounts with a worried look on his face to find out if this is true. Had he not been assured that his hand would be at the throttle, he probably would not have climbed back on the engine. The Executive Vice President here mounts the 90 for her last run. One blast on the whistle and away for her final run up the hill. The 90 is a Baldwin Mikado type 90-ton superheat engine, which gives her a sharp staccato exhaust. Dear officials, this is a memorable day. Over 3,000 people turned out to pay their respects to these final engines that are ending their year years of service on the way. The words of praise are over. Old number 90 is unhooked from her frame and lying to the side as the new diesel 90 moves in and takes over. The new number 90 heads for the Hoquiam River log dump with her first cargo, a large load of and a brand new caboose. A small boy, already a real rail fan, complete with engineer's cap, watches the last day of steam. Old 38 is being relieved of her duties, and Diesel 45 takes over. The new 45 is numbered after a little 45-ton Baldwin 262 engine built for the Folsom Company in 1906, and now on permanent display in Last Spur Park in Hoquiam.
Special credit to documentary railroad narration and videos playing in the background during production of this video.